everybody, welcome to the show. Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Amanda. This is Raising A to Z, informational YouTube channel all about homeschooling. And today I'm going to show you how I plan my homeschool year. A lot of parents, especially new parents, get overwhelmed with the idea of planning out their homeschooling. It seems like it's a very overwhelming process, but it doesn't have to be, especially when you start with your overall plan. I like to do kind of an overview of what we're going to cover this year, what we're going to do in terms of our unit studies and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not really going to worry too much about what page we're going to do today in our math book and on this day what we're going to read in our readers. None of that is going to go into our planners today. Today I'm going to do my planning overview for the 2020-2021 academic school year, which is basically for us, it ends up being from September to August because we are year-round homeschoolers, but that's just kind of how we flow with our year when it comes to the schedule that we like to use. So before we get into the actual planning, it's good to be prepared when you sit down to do some planning. Give yourself a little bit block of time, a couple of hours, just to kind of think and mull around, get your laptop, to get some ideas. This is time to kind of just sit and dream and kind of come up with what your ultimate ideal homeschool year will be. Will you accomplish everything in your homeschool plan? Probably not. But at least having a plan gives you a direction of where you might want to go or what you're going to do. First thing you're going to need is a homeschool planner. Now, we sell homeschool planners. They are available on our website. You have two options. There's 4 cover options actually, but you have 2 options in terms of print if you like the planner that I'm using. You have this option, which is a PDF option. You print it yourself, and then you can either hole punch it and put in a binder, or I took it to Staples and they spiral bound it in about 4 minutes for $6. So that is option number 1. Or if that just seems like more work than it's worth for you, you can actually order, again, same planner, just it comes pre-bound. It's printed and bound for you. This is available on Amazon. The links for these are going to be below, so if this is something you're interested in, you can totally check it out and pick one up. I have some pens here, just regular colorful Paper Mate pens. Those are kind of my favorite colored pens, and then I just have a black Sharpie, a pencil. Some Post-it notes are always really nice. They help kind of keep things organized if you have ideas, or especially if there's a spot where I'm oh, I don't quite have an idea for that. I'll put a Post-it note to remind me so that I know when it's coming up that I need to work on that. I'm going to use the spiral bound just because it's easier to film with, because it lays a little bit flatter. First thing, we open it up. Some great quotes in here. This is your year at a glance, which is always fantastic. And the first thing you come into is planning review. If it's your first year, there's gonna be things in here that you can't fill out. Obviously you don't know what worked last year because you've never done it. But if this is your second or third or more years of homeschooling, this is a great place to kind of sit and really spend some time thinking about what worked, what didn't, what you want to add in and what you want to take out. So I'm actually going to go through this with you and show you what we're adding in and what we're taking out and all of that. What worked for us, our math curriculum last year was fantastic. Alexi absolutely loved her math curriculum. We're still working on it because we kind of walked away from it for a little while with all the COVID stuff, but she's back into it and it's really at her level. I'm gonna do a video all about what her curriculum is for this year. If you wanna see what we used last year, we'll put a link below as well. But she's gonna use the same curriculum this year. So that video is coming up in 2 weeks. So stay tuned for that. So something else that worked really well for last year, we had a really great balanced schedule. So I really enjoyed our schedule of balanced days. So we did a lot of days at home, but we also had a really good balance of days out. And I think I want to kind of stick with that balance for this year. And I think that worked really well for us because it kept us socialized and meeting new people, but it also really helped us have days at home where we could kind of focus on school, which was important and which was kind of helped us not wear ourselves out either. So I really like that. Another thing that we really that worked really well last year, we started adding in chapter books, small chapter books, small novels as a read aloud at bedtime. So before that, we've always done lots of picture books with our kids, but this year we did picture books kind of during the day, and at bedtime we did like a longer story. We did some chapter books, and that was kind of a really interesting thing because Zoe really took to some of them, Alexi took to some others, and it really kind of helped us have like a bigger, instead of picking a story every night, which with 2 kids can be like a 10-minute process in itself, we could just pick up a book, and it really got them thinking on like what's coming next, doing some like predicting, and it really got them into like having longer plots and longer storylines. So we really enjoyed that, and we're gonna keep doing that this year. What didn't work? This is always a really good place to kind of think about what didn't work. So what didn't work was afternoon school. This year I tried to do school in the afternoon with Alexi and do her workbook and stuff like that in the afternoon while Zoe was taking a nap. It didn't work out as great as I thought it would, partially because that nap time is kind of like the time when I do a lot of my work and other, things that I need to get done. And then also like we can't always predict how long Zoe's gonna sleep, so we were losing, we weren't always getting as much time as we would have liked to do some work and some activities, which was fine. We were making it work until Zoe stopped napping. And then afternoon work time kind of really flew out the window. So definitely not going to be doing afternoon school. Might work for you guys doing some homeschooling in the afternoon. I think we are going to do some activities in the afternoon, but we're going to try to do the majority of like any of our book work or seat work or unit study stuff in the morning. So now we're going to move on to the second part here. We're going to talk about what I want to add in for this year. We've kind of been doing it really slowly, doing a little bit at a time, upping what kind of like school stuff or learning stuff that we do that's a little more structured. So primarily we've only been doing like math and language. So this year we're going to see what we want to add in. So the first thing I want to add in is I want to do more music time. I also want to do more audiobooks this year. I've been reading a lot about the benefits of being read to, and while that's great, it's a little stressful for me to always be the one sitting down and reading all the books. So this year I'm going to try to do some more audiobooks, especially if the kids are having like a playtime where they're just like playing Lego or just doing something kind of little with their hands or coloring. I think I'm going to try to do some more audiobooks and just let them listen to a story while they're doing another activity. And then the last thing, we're going to be doing more, we always do a unit or like a theme of the month. This year I think we're going to be doing a little bit more of a deeper dive and being a little more intentional with our unit studies. So that is kind of like putting a little bit more time into our unit studies this year. And what do we want to take out? I don't really have that many things to take out right now, primarily because we didn't have that much in our like homeschooling planning to begin with. We've been really, like I said, really intentional about only doing kind of literacy and math so far. And so now we actually can add things in. We're not really worried about taking stuff out because I didn't really have that much to start with, but that's where we're going. Once you're kind of got your planning review, what worked, what you want to take out, you can actually get in a little bit deeper. So then we go into the side, we have year plan overview. So this is kind of where I like to sit down and like look at like what units we want to do, what activities we want to do this year, themes of the month, that kind of stuff. This is where I'm going to kind of do my overview. So if you're new to the idea of unit studies and you want to incorporate more unit studies, we have an amazing video on how to build a unit study in 6 steps. That's the exact process that I use to build a unit study. And the great thing is when you go to that video, you can actually get our unit study planner, which is this like PDF printable you can get. It's free. And so this is what I use to plan out what our homeschooling units are going to look like. So I did a couple here, and I'm going to start by going through like what we're actually going to do this year, and I'll have you guys work with me on that. So using my unit planner, our first month in September, this is where I use colorful pens just because it makes me happy. But we're going to do a back to basics unit, and we're going to do, it's going to be all about letters, numbers, colors, and shapes. Just a really kind of, like I said, back to basics. That's going to be kind of like the thing that we're going to do for the month. That's pretty much what Zoe's going to do all year in her preschooling, but we'll get into that in another video next week. It's going to just be a lot of just getting back into our schedule, back into our routine, back into all of the basics. So that is what September is. October is going to be like a fall theme. So we're going to be doing lots of like Thanksgiving, Halloween, and fall type stuff. Lots of pumpkin related stuff. That's a big thing for us. So that's what we're doing for October. Then we get into November. We're going to be doing the human body. It's going to be a fun unit for us. So we're going to be doing germs. I like to put the big ideas: staying healthy and eating healthy. Those are going to be our big things. So for December, you guys know us and been following us for a while. We don't homeschool in December. We take the whole month of December off. And we just do all kinds of like festive holiday stuff. So it's just like our Christmas month, and we have all kinds of activities that we do all December. Christmas, we don't do any actually homeschooling, but we have a lot of fun things that we do. January, I'm super pumped for. We've always done like a bigger unit study in January, something a little bit more hands-on, because after kind of like the excitement of like Christmas and the holidays, when we go back to like getting back into our routine, there's like a slump there. And so I found by putting something really exciting kind of in that January block, it really helped kind of pick us up and get us back into the routine of school and got us excited to get into the routine of school again. Last year we did an author study. We did Barbara Reed, and we just like read all of her books and did a whole kind of stuff like that with her books and her art. This time we're gonna do a whole unit on scientists. So all kinds of like the scientific method, famous scientists, types of science. We're gonna do all kinds of stuff like that. So that's what we're gonna be doing for January. I plan on doing a couple experiments, maybe 1 or 2 a week, something to get us back into school. February, we're gonna be doing like a diversity month. It is Black History Month, but we're gonna do kind of like just diversity in general for this year. So we're gonna be doing no white protagonists, so no books that have white main characters. So basically all of our picture books and our movies and documentaries and all that kind of stuff that we're gonna watch, it's gonna be all either Black leads, Indigenous leads, or Asian leads. So that's kind of our plan. And also studying like people who, we have quite a few like great biographies about different people of color. So we're gonna be doing biographies about famous people who are not white. By March, fingers crossed, all this COVID stuff is gone, and we're gonna do a whole big zoo study. Right now, Lexi picks most of our unit studies because, well, she's the older one and she has more vocabulary to say what she wants. But going off of what Zoe likes, we're gonna do a whole unit on zoos and animals and in zoos. Biologists, types of animals, habitats, reading about zoo stories and visiting zoos and stuff. So that's what we're gonna do for March. Hopefully that means we can also go to a zoo and go see some animals. April is going to be doing a unit on cities and community, which I'm excited about. Communities is more for Zoe, cities is more for Lexi. Zoe is really into like who is in our community, the people in our community, like helpers and businesses and that kind of stuff. Alexi is really into like city planning. So like what cities need to have in them to be successful cities. So that's what we're going to be doing. Again, this is why people love unit studies, is because you can pick a topic and kind of like make it work for multiple ages and grade levels. So that's what we're doing for April. May, we're going to get into plants and seeds. That's our big plan for May. So we're going to do plant identification, growing plants / plant like life cycles, like edible plants and stuff like that. So that's our plan for May. Our big idea for that one is we're going to probably end up doing our garden or garden boxes. So that's always a fun one because the kids love to eat what comes out of the garden. So they'll be super pumped for that. June, we're going to be doing insects, the bibits as Zoe likes to call them. So we're going to go over like types of bugs, names of bugs, parts of bugs, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I can find like a raise butterflies kit. That's kind of my big plan for June, is to raise some butterflies. I think that'd be like super fun. We'll have to see though. Some of those things are hard to find. Not only hard to find, but hard to get shipped up to where we are in Northern Ontario. So fingers crossed. And then for July and August, I kind of do like one theme for the whole kind of like summer once Dave Van's home, just because I love him, but when he's home, it throws our routine off. He's very spontaneous, whereas I'm more of a like structured person. And also because he's home, we can go and do different things. So we end up doing a lot more traveling and stuff like that. So there's significantly less like seat work and less actually like getting into a unit study. So what would normally take us like a month will probably take us 2 months at least. So for the summer, we're going to be doing a big camping unit. And we're going to be doing like outdoor living, nature, trips, and traveling, and that kind of stuff. So once you're finished, you kind of end up with a really nice plan of, you can see where you're going, what you're doing. But as you notice, I haven't really gotten into like what pages we're doing, what workbooks we're going to be pulling out. This is just like getting the ideas on paper, figuring out what we're going to be studying and like when we're going to be studying it. The next part, I've already started. This is brand new to the planner this year. This is our reading list. So I'm going to be using these as 2 different sections. This side is going to be for novels. These are going to be our reader alouds at bedtime. This side is going to be audiobooks. And the nice thing about having this is I can make a list of titles as I see them or as I think they come available. And then when I don't know what to put on, I just pull that out. This side is, I've picked out books to go kind of specifically with our unit studies. So I'm going to put a couple in here. So I already put Ramona. I have Mouse and the Motorcycle. Then we have Zoe and Sassafras. That's going to be going in here, but we're going to be doing the Unicorns and Germs. We have Ada Twist on our list for this year. We have Sugar, Mr. Popper's Penguins, Boxcar Kids, Boxcar Children, sorry. I'm missing one book. I haven't quite decided on what we're going to do for that one. The next one we're doing is Charlotte's Web, and then Anne of Green Gables. So those are kind of like the big novels we're going to do for the year. It works out to roughly 1 a month, and that's what we're going to be doing for reading lists. And then audiobooks, I still have to get into like our library system and see what audiobooks we have available. But that is one of the next things on the list. After that, we have a couple of time blocking sheets in this book. There's 4 of them. Normally, I would get right into this, but given the fact that we're in the middle of COVID and the pandemic and half the stuff isn't even open right now, and we don't know what the fall is going to look like in terms of like classes or play groups or any of that, we're going to leave this open for now. And I'll fill that in as we get more information about what is actually going to happen in the fall. Then when we get down to here, we're going to get into like our actual September, your monthly kind of overview page. So here you can put birthdays and events, field trips, goals, resources, books and notes. This is kind of like where I'm actually going to take these like unit study ideas and actually like fill them in into the planners so that this becomes like my one-stop shop place. I'm not going to do all of them because that would take forever, but I will do like, I'll do the first one just to show you how it's done. So birthdays, I always put birthdays down. So there's my birthday. Then we don't really have any events. Field trips, we're going to hopefully do a big library trip and maybe do a library crawl and go visit a couple different libraries in our city because we have, I want to say at least 8 libraries nearby. So that might be kind of a fun library adventure. And our goal for September is just going to be getting back to a schedule, and refreshing the basics for us. But it's also going to be introducing Zoe to all the basics. So it's just going to be like a fun little month. And then when it comes down to like resources, we're going to do lots of Play-Doh, some stamping. In terms of books, we're going to be doing lots of letter books, number books, colors. I'm going to pull out like ABC Canada, Chicka Chicka Boom Boom, Zero. Like I'm gonna pull out all these kinds of our like picture books and we'll use those as like our reading. And then our big book is going to be Ramona. Once you get into like this, it actually goes quite quickly as you kind of like move through. So after, but I'll show you what else is in this planner because that's pretty much what we're here for too, right? So like this is what I'm gonna do for every month, go through month by month. And then, so after that, then you actually have your like monthly overview. So this you can actually put in like, okay, this day we're going to the library, we have to go to swimming on Wednesdays or whatever, right? So you can actually put that in here. That's what we do with it. And then we're also gonna put like any notes of anything we need to pick up or supplies that we need, I like to put that on the side just to help keep me organized. Then you're gonna get into your actual like week layout. So there's 6 boxes here, so you can put 6 topics, 6 subjects, do 3 for each kid, like whatever you want to do. Normally we do the top one, we do socialization, so this is if you have to go anywhere. And then I do like literacy, math, science, art, unit study, like stuff like that. And then I'll fill it in. Now that I have Zoe who's starting preschool, we'll do 2 different colors. So I won't actually get into these until like late in August, early September, and I do them like once a month because I find you can spend months and months and get them all written out, but it only takes a couple days of the kids being sick to really throw you off, and then you're constantly having to like redo it. So I'll do like 1 month at a time of like, okay, we're doing this page for our language arts, we're doing this page for math, and like figure that out here. Because if anything changes, it's easier to fix a couple weeks than it is to fix like a whole 2 or 3 months. So that's what it is. You go through, and like I said, when I come to October, I'll start putting stuff in. The other thing that I love about this planner that I was really cognizant about putting in was that I wanted a place to put logins. I don't know about you, but a lot of people are using a lot of online resources. They have a lot of online databases, the online teaching programs or courses. This is a great place to log the website, username, passwords, all of that. There's 4 pages, so you have lots of space to put all that in there, because the last thing you want to do is like try to log into something and not remember what your passwords are. This is a great place to put all those passwords that you need or want to remember. And then at the end, you have some like great lined paper. I have another video about lists that I love to use. This is a great place to put them. It's also a great place to just like scratch notes or things that you want to do. So that is what our planner looks like. It's also how I do all of my year overview planning, and I hope that was helpful. I hope that you realize going through this that homeschool planning doesn't have to be stressful. It doesn't have to be super overwhelming, and it's a lot easier than it looks. Thank you so much for watching. If you like our video, please subscribe, click the bell to get notifications. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You can also join our email list where we send out like all kinds of like freebies, and you get to be the first to know all kinds of cool things. And if you want to buy this year's planner, you can either pick up the PDF or the pre-bound. You can find those on our website, which is also going to be below. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.